Alrighty, hello everyone. Welcome to another Cryptic crossword. Now, this is going to be going up on YouTube as well because I know there are people who kind of stop in, take a look at these puzzles, and they haven't solved them themselves yet, so they just kind of lurk. But I figured that I can upload these onto YouTube as well, and that way, if you want to watch live, you can, or you can check in a little bit. I do have my YouTube link on Twitch, so for those of you watching on YouTube, hi. Hi, welcome. I'm Ian, and we're gonna jump into this. I'm not gonna do record the Escape Academy, so it's just gonna be the solve of this. Solve of this puzzle. You know, you can watch me stumble and flail about a little bit. Alright, let's have a look at this. One across. Group of cows saving energy for bull. Okay. So, I'm trying to figure out what's the definition here, because, like, it's an interesting clue, but phrasing doesn't really help much here. By the way, part of the reason I've noticed there also being more British clues is I did miss that now the Globe and Mail is actually getting their puzzles from the Times, so that's actually kind of fun. I've watched a different channel that got me started into like wanting to record these. Who started me on Cryptic crosswords? That was a friend. That was a relative who got me started on those. But you know, picking up more of the British slang that's going to be necessary to solve some of these. But I will probably have to look up bits of, like, is this a term of British slang that I'm missing? That, like, somebody who is in the United Kingdom would be more likely to know than I would. Anyway, what was I? This group of cows. So, a group. So the definition could be group of cows. Could be. I'm trying to think of, like, what else could bull mean in this case? Because, like, my first thought with bull obviously is, like, you know, male cow. But bull could also mean that you're, like, lying or you're making something up. Bull-headed, like, it could be stubborn. So, a word that potentially fits is stampede, just as, like, a group of cows, but I don't really necessarily like that, because I'm also trying to figure out, like, saving energy, that could be saving E, right, like, you could be, like, moving an E into a word that's not supposed to have it, so then group of cows could be something like a herd, and then we've got something completely different from stampede. So, I am rambling. I have nothing for this one. One down. That man will torture. Nope. I've got nothing for this one. That man will torture? Well, actually, no, I do have something here. That man will. So I think if you say that man, you can say he, and then he will. You could do an abbreviation to go LL and get hell, which hell, I believe, like, if you say that was torture, that was hell, those are synonymous. So I think this might be hell. I am I'm to make sure that I'm to help myself improve. I'm trying to check less. So I am gonna check the grid, but I'm gonna check it after I've got like about every 4 answers roughly, just so that I'm not getting that instant feedback like if I'm not sure. Okay, ears reshaped by source of light. Surgical beam? So I like this one. I'm pretty sure this is laser. So ears reshaped gives us, like, telling us to anagram the letters of ears, and then source of light. So you take the first letter of light to get that. And laser's one of those neat ones because, like, laser can be L-A-S-E-R or L-A-Z-E-R, which means if you've got, I think it's called a pangram, when you have every letter in a puzzle. Oh, whoops, give me a moment. Chat, I am so sorry. I realized I didn't turn off emote only. If anybody does pop in and chat it'll also pop up. I'll record it for people as well. So it's starting with heard would make more sense. Like, I think hell is correct because laser fits really well. So something like group of cows heard. I don't know what else it could be. Like, if it went herd here, what's this last bit here? Like, is it saving energy? Is it for bull? Like, I'm not sure where you go with that. So, let's take a look. Others with skill go back to square one. Okay. Others with skill. Go back to square one. Square one is like your starting point. I don't know if skill can be... Yeah, I've got nothing for that one. Like, go back to would normally mean like you're reversing the word, but we have a down clue, so normally you would do something more like rise than go back to. Like, go back to would normally be for a horizontal clue, not a vertical clue. Just in my experience, but I could be wrong. Yeah, no, I've got nothing here. Let's try 3 down. Relative stoic, if runs off. Relative stoic, if runs off. So, this is a 5-6. Stoic is 5 letters. Runs off. Milliliters is relative. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So relative is... Yeah, so if it's an anagram, we'd probably be looking at stoic if runs. But it doesn't have to be an anagram. I'm just double checking that because I'm trying to figure out the problem is that relative stoic if runs off is like, normally if that if is not part of anagram fodder, that's usually indicating like, okay, this is where you break the, you break off the clue. Like, relative stoic is one half, runs off is another half, or something like that, or stoic and runs off would be... But, so relative could mean, like, a blood relative, but relative could also mean, like, related to something, like, or like a, or if you say something is, like, relatively close, you're going, like, it can be approximate. Actually, I'm going to briefly play with that, with the anagram idea. If it was stoic if runs, then what can I make that first word be? Because if it's stoic if runs, we've only got... Oh, we've got one O, two I's, and a U. Right? Which isn't a lot of vowels, and... Like, I couldn't do some... Like, you could do some, like, STR, right? For... But then, what's next? Right? And that uses up a lot of potential letters. Actually, that's more interesting with it, is that R is... Excuse me, is the third letter of a fifth letter, of a five-letter word. So if it's not STR... Then it could be like... Turns? Okay, so if it's turns, Turns, then we've got S, I... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Okay. If it was turns, then you've got O, I, F, C, S. So I don't think it's going to be turns, but, like, that's going to make it interesting. I don't think it's an anagram, only because... Sorry, I know I've been, like, babbling a bit about this, but I don't think it's an anagram because the letter fodder doesn't quite work for that. Like, if it was something like, I don't know, gonna make up a word here just really quick, sorit, right? S-O-R-I-T, right? Just to balance out so there's some, so it's not half vowel, half consonant for the third, or for the 6-letter word. You still, there's not, the letters here are a bit difficult, I think, to make words, but to make words that would have a phrase that means relative. But, that being said, I could just be wrong, and will see if I can get some more checking letters. Do I go 4 or 11? Let's try 4. Story about Dover, say. Ooh, okay. So, okay. Story about Dover, say. Now, this one's kind of fun because this is going to be a homophone. Story. So I think the definition is going to be a story, but a story doesn't have to just be like something like a tale. A story could also be something like a multi-story building is like a multi-floor building. And then about Dover. So it could be that we anagram Dover to get a word for a word that sounds like story. So I'm gonna open up a thesaurus, or I have a thesaurus open. So, and I'm just gonna look up some synonyms for story quickly, because a story can also be like a lie. Is the other part that's kind of important there. Yeah, I don't have quite enough there. Like, I can... None of the synonyms I'm seeing right off the bat are helpful. So I'm going to see if I can get some checking letters with a different one. So let's look at 11 across and see if it can give me a checking letter for 2. Shift. Interrupted by constant disagreement. Okay, so I'm pretty sure... So I'm pretty sure we're going to have disagreement is our definition here. Though it could be shift, because it could be move. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so not disagreement. Yeah, so shift interrupted by constant. So I think we're going to have either the word itself shift or a synonym for shift interrupted by either the word constant or a, like, more likely in this case, something that has the same cryptic meaning as constant. So disagreement could be something like a squabble. Could be okay. What do we got here? Sorry, I know I'm going quiet here. Okay. Shift. So shift can be two different. The two meanings I'm getting for shift right off the bat are either like a shift at work, so that could be like or it could be a shift like moving something. So it's something like move or shove or oh dang it all. I was so proud of myself for getting hell and laser and maybe seeing herd, and now I'm just like, nope, nada. Okay, what are some words for disagreement? Because I have it open. Because I'm realizing that it could be shift is the definition, right? Like shift. Right? Because like but also whether shift is move or sorry, I realized I didn't actually complete that sentence. Apologies, bit scattered. So shift, it could be the definition is shift, right? Interrupted by constant disagreement. Well, see that the wordplay doesn't indicate that shift would be the definition, because shift interrupted makes it seem a lot more like we've got disagreement as the definition, because the interrupted doesn't make sense as a starting, right? Doesn't make sense as a starting clue to me. So I'm going to stick with it being disagreement for now, unless I get something big for it. And then whether shift is, say, move or rearrange or something like that, it also could be something like, you know, time or time or period or something like that. actually have this. Okay. This... I just saw one of the synonym words, and I realized, just like I was trying to do the wordplay with this, shift can mean to change. Now, if you change, you alter something. An alteration is a shift. And then interrupted by constant, well, a constant can be C in math. Like, if you do, this is going to be, like, if you're in calculus and you integrate something, you don't know a potential constant, because if you have a derivative, derivatives only care about variables. So if you derive something that has a constant in it, that doesn't show up in the derivative. So, like, if you just, easiest example, if you want to figure out your acceleration and your equation for your velocity is 2x plus 2x is 2x, whether that's 2x plus a million or 2x minus infinity, like, it doesn't matter. There's no variable beside that other factor we've got there, that plus or minus factor. So if you want to get your acceleration is just going to be 2. But that means if you're given acceleration and you want to integrate to figure out what your velocity formula is, you integrate 2, that becomes 2x plus c. So that c can be a constant. So if you alter... So an alteration is a shift, an altercation is a disagreement. That is cool. And we finally have something. Ooh. 3 is going to be interesting. Does that help me at all with 4? Not really. Okay, let's try 9 across. Show insect on paper. Okay. So is our definition here show, or is our definition here paper? Because there's... like, insect is an interesting word, because, like, my first thought is you can do synonym like a bug, but then you can also do things like a gnat or a tick, or, like, there's a bunch of, like, short synonyms for types of bugs. So and then if the definition is show, right, like, I would need to figure out show insect, insect on paper, so I'd probably be expecting there would be my synonym for insect before my synonym for paper. I have the definitions paper. Yeah, I'm not sure there. That's a good 5. Comfortable seat, one's lost in capital. Okay. Comfortable, or comfortable seat. So, I'm not sure what it is here, okay, but, where I'm looking at this is that it could be comfortable or comfortable seat as our definition, but it also could be capital. And then capital can be a lot of different things. Like capital could be referring to things like money. It could also be referring to things like a capital city. Right? So depending on what we've got here. Now, I like the idea of comfortable more because there's a lot of short synonyms for comfortable that work, and then you can start messing about with the wordplay to get those more. Like, if you'd use one as I, right? One comfortable, so seat one's lost in capital. Now that could be like one is, or one. This could be one something belonging to the one. This could be one S, saying that we would need like an L or an I to signify the one, and then we have an S in it. And then, or it could be something like we need to take the I out of capital, right? So there's a lot of ways you could get this one. My two thoughts on this are something like cozy or easy. And the thing is, both of those would end in a Y. So let's take a look at this down. Treatment applied to host as in shock. Okay, treatment applied to host as in shock. Huh. That is a bit of a weird clue. What is our definition? So I don't think it's easy or cozy, because I can't think of a word that would start with Y that means either treatment or in shock. Right? So if the definition is treatment, then we're looking for something like applied to host. So if you apply for something, you try, or you would petition. Sorry, chat. It's very smoky where I live. And the smoke makes it both fun to breathe and it starts clogging up my respiratory system. So I get the double hit with it. I get a very stuffed up nose and I get my lungs say, nope, no breathing for you. Or, actually not quite, my lungs say, not enough air, help. Okay. Remember to mute myself this time. Let's see. So applied could be like applying for a job, but it also could be used, right? Like, and then applied to host as in shock. Yeah, I've got nothing here. Old chap, one from SW Asian country. So it could be, that could mean Southwest Asian country, but old chap, one from Southwest Asian country. Old chap, one from Southwest Asian. Okay. I don't know enough geography for this. Was that across again? Show insect, yeah. Okay, treatment applied to host as in shock. Okay. So treatment, you get things like handling or like using. You also get things like, surgery, therapy, medicine. So let's see. I'm also going to look up shock just in case there's something weird with that. Hmm. Treatment applied to host as in shock. Okay. So trying to think of I'm getting stuck on what these could be. Okay. Old chap. One from Southwest Asian country. Is Omani a country? I'm gonna look that up. Yes, it is. Or Oman is. Like, Oman is a country. So, old would be O, chap would be a man, and then one would be I. Okay, so I think I'm correct, but let's just check the grid with these. Whoops, no. Okay, no errors. Yeah, okay. Now, it's not unfortunately looking good for my thought of cozy. One's lost in capital. This clue also feels familiar, and I don't know why. I might have actually seen this clue in a different puzzle or something like that. Treatment applied to host as in shock. Um. Here we go. I'm just gonna look at this. Okay, 14 is a weird clue. I was just hoping for a checking letter, but an essential part of parasitism in the current circumstances. This is hilarious. So, an essential part of parasitism in the current circumstances. The definition here is current circumstances, because if you look in the middle of parasitism, you get as it is. Okay. Treatment. Applied to host as in shock. Synonyms for in shock. Treatment. Apply. Oh. Okay, so I looked up for some synonyms for like in shock, but it's not in shock. It's just shock, because we're doing shock as into like to startle somebody, which I had thought of. But treatment applied to is like this is an anagram. Host as in. If you anagram those, you get astonish. Okay, so I'm pretty sure this is ant for insect, and then we've got show that'll mean paper. You're not cozy. Seat one's lost in capital. Well, I mean, a comfortable seat, like, I think that's where I've seen this before, is I think comfortable seat has been defined as sofa before. Like, I've seen that definition. But I don't know if there's like a capital that's defined in there, but if there is, yeah, who knows? Alright, but let's look back over here. Okay. Show insect on paper. So we're looking for... something with paper. What are we looking at here? Show. So we have insect on paper. It still could... Could it be that? What if it's not ant? Because if it's not ant... Because it could be a show as in, like, a stage show or a performance. Let's see if we can get this. Okay, insect as customer squashed by King George. Okay, I have... Okay. This is going to be a bit silly, but I think I have this. I looked at this, and I saw just the A blank S, and then it was a long word that I thought, well, what kind of insect does that fit? And then what fits to me is grasshopper. Now, the reason I'm going with this is that I'm pretty sure that for any of the monarchs, you can put, like, Queen Elizabeth is Elizabeth Regina. Like, ER. to show that she is the queen. I don't know. I think Regina is like Latin for like female monarch. It could be something like, it could be George Regina or like George something else, but R or Regent or something, I don't know, but British monarch plus, like, the first letter plus R can be used whenever there's like king or queen. Then, as customer, so this is on top because it's squishing, so as shopper. And then you would have a grasshopper. Is this pageant? Because a page is a paper, and then a pageant would be a type of show. I think that would be correct. Story about Dover, say. Story about Dover, say. Wish I had. I mean, only I'm getting, I think I'm getting that fits this something like capers. Is Dover a cape? Is Dover a cape? No, it's not. There's a Strait of Dover. So, what type of story are we looking at? Story about something like a japery? Report? What is this report? So that's one. Yeah, I think that's the 4 I said. So I don't entirely get the clue from this one. Wait, no, the Strait of Dover. The Strait of Dover would be a port. There would be a port in Dover about re something. Okay. So that's fair enough. Group of cows saving energy for bull. That H makes me think herd, but there's also like... Okay, so what if herd was doing this and then saving energy? Is there a weird synonym for bull that I don't know? This could be right, it could not be. I'm gonna see if we can... Let's look at 13 across. A god transfixed by university writer. Transfixed. One moment. Okay. I was making sure. I thought transfix meant like you were enraptured or you were held. And I wanted to make sure I was getting that I had that kind of right idea. So I think we have a god held, like suspended by, or within a university, which means a writer. Okay. So... like, Ra is... like, a god, there's so many things could be there. Like, Egyptian pantheon has a lot of short deity names. You have Ra, you have Nut, you have, there's another one, it's like Jeb, I want to say. But there are other religions that have it, like, the Norse, you could use a Norse god like Sif. What's a by university writer? transfixed by university writer. So it's a short... Maybe there's something that I'm missing for university. God transfixed by university writer. Okay, done with that. Let's see what we can do. Material. Bit Angel Tailored. Okay, so Bit Angel Tailored is saying that we're looking for a material using Bit Angel as our anagram fodder. Is tangible? How do you spell tangible? Tangible. Okay, tangible. If something's tangible, it's material, or it's like it's something you can touch. A god transfixed by university writer. Well, that's interesting. I'm pretty sure this is author. Because A, Thor with U in between, which is not where I thought that was going to go. I thought it was like a god transfixed with university, but I guess that makes sense because university can be shortened to U. Like if you go University of California, like it's it's like UOC. So what are you? Others with skill go back to square one. Is it like reset? Is this restart? It is restart. Go back to square one. Others with skill. I don't know. I don't think restart means others with skill, at least not that I know of. This is unfortunately looking like Stoic if runs his anagram to make this. Which is not the best. Okay, let's look over here. Gross. Pay 1 has blown in cafe. Gross pay 1 has blown in cafe. I have thoughts on this, but because gross can mean either like disgusting, but gross can also mean like total. And also, gross pay 1 might just be anagrammed, right? It's blown about, and then it means a cafe. No, I think it is an anagram, just looking at it. I'm not sure which one, but what it's going to be, but we'll see if we can get something here. Some cancel operations and run away. Okay. So, this one I've got. So, some cancel operations and run away. Some is telling me to look for a hidden. And then I can see a loop in here. I'll check if I'm right with that. Actually, 22 down might be a good one. Still, far... Still far from bumpy. I think this is ever. Ever or... It's ever or it's even, and it's going to be something that means the same as... No, still doesn't mean ever, it means even. So that's why I had to double check. Because far from bumpy... Okay, yeah, so if something's far from being bumpy, it's even. Right? It's not rough. Personal. Cheese-coated chocolate cake. I don't know what this is, but... If it's personal, maybe bio? Cheese cheese-coated chocolate cake. I don't know. Hi, Jeffo. How's it going? Glad to hear it. Oop. There we go. Haven't seen you for a little bit. Hope you've been keeping well. Fair enough. Gross pay 1. Well, we'll say sort of. I'm almost an hour and a half in, and I think we're only a bit over a half done, but it's been a fun one. I'll say that. Like, it's been a good brain teaser. Gross pay 1 has blown in cafe. Okay. So what is a cafe? Okay, things like a cafe. That's like a coffee shop, but that could also be. Okay. Wait a minute. Greasy Spoon. Is that a cafe? That sounds like a name of a cafe. Yep, okay. It's a restaurant chain. It is a restaurant chain that does not exist where I live, but yeah, and that makes sense. Like, it's a restaurant chain, I could see it being like, if it's a bit of a greasy spoon, then. Alright. Relative stoic if runs off. Yeah, and that doesn't... okay. I'm getting out pen and paper for anagram instead of trying to do this in my head because I'm not quite headspace to be able to do that. Okay. Stoic if runs. So we've got a 5-letter word. And then we've got a 6-letter word. So we have if you have hints, like, I've been fighting with this one for a while, so... like, fighting with this puzzle for a little bit, but... this is the first time I've had a chance with this one, so I'll probably ask if that's okay, Jeffo. Yeah, I figured... I realized it was an anagram indicator. I just wasn't sure if Stoic if runs was going to be our anagram. But thank you, that is good to have confirmed. What was that? Ah, there we go. Blank S. Okay, so what have we lost? We've lost one T. We've lost the O. And we've lost an S. Oh! First cousin. Hi, Liari. How's it going? No, thank you for confirming with that, Jeffo, because I was going, like, I was going, like, I don't think it's an anagram. I can't see how this would work, and when I actually wrote it out, it's like, oh, yeah, first cousin. Okay, that makes more sense. Okay. Word form? What are we looking here? How's life been treating you, though, Liari? Haven't seen you for a bit. Group of cows saving energy for bull. So it looks like it is herd. But I don't know what this other bit is. Herd form. Herd form. farm. I don't know. Energy farm. I'm gonna let that percolate a little bit. Personal cheese coated. Personal cheese coated chocolate cake. Cheese. Okay, cheese coated. Brie? Okay, I think Brie, B-R-I-E, is a cheese. And something like cheese coated personal, my or one, or own. Brownie. I don't know if I would call a brownie a chocolate cake, but I guess that kind of fits. Like, I don't know how you classify desserts like that, or if we really do. Okay. Rise. Beginning to affect clone. Is this a scent? So that would mean a rise. The beginning of effect would be A, and then a cologne is a scent. I should have started down here. I'd have had a way an easier time. Weight has horse in mood. Okay, weight has horse in mood. A ton is, it could be from weight. Something like tonnage? Oh yeah, no, it is tonnage. Because you have a nag, which is a fairly derogative word for a horse, honestly. You have tone, which, like, the tone of your message is the mood of your message. Like, it's the mood or things like that. Like, what's the tone of the meeting here? What's the mood of the meeting? So you have nag in tone to give us weight, tonnage. Okay. Level half beyond first of potholes. Is this plane? think this might be plain, but I'm going to see if I can get 19 down. Whoops. So that you guys actually be able to see the clues. County furniture. Something like unit fit here. No. County furniture. So looking for furniture that has the same cryptic definition as a county. So this might be a specific county. Not sure. Dark ship. Dark ship in which evil alters. Okay. Dark ship in which evil alters. So I think this is saying we need evil, like, anagrammed in some way. So that could be something like veil or levy. Evil, live, veil. Or levy, really. Okay. Dark ship. Okay. So I think we're looking at ship. So our definition here is dark, I think. Alters being, like, anagram for evil. Ship can mean like a boat. It could also mean like to mail or to have other meanings. let's just look up synonyms of dark. In case I'm just being silly with some of these. Dark ship in which evil alters. I'm thinking something like starless, but... Well, I can think of this as something like starless, but... Okay. So I'm pretty sure this is plane. Because first a pothole... Because if something's level, it's on the same plane. A path is a lane. Beyond, so after first of potholes, P gives us plane. I have no clue what this would be. County furniture. If this... In which... Dark ship in which evil alters. But the only word I can see fitting this group of letters, like this, like it doesn't have the anagram of evil, so I don't know how the clue is working. But starless is the only thing I have that fits. But if it is starless, and I'm still not sure what to do for this one. Like, I've got heard. Saving energy for bull? Like, are we looking at, like, herd firm, or... Herd form... Hurliari, if you have any thoughts on this, I would take potentially help. Because I am stuck. Or at least I've got potential words, but I don't have, like, understanding the clues. Is it like a Beds County? Okay, what other furniture could you be? Beds fits. What else have we got? Maybe pegs. So you have like coat pegs. This. Okay, I think this is beds. Just because I can't think of another thing of furniture that fits that properly, except maybe pegs, and even then, that's like part of furniture, not furniture itself. And I have no clue, like, county beds? Is there a beds county? Yes, there is. Bedfordshire. Bedfordshire, ceremonial county. Yep, okay. So there's a UK county called a UK county beds store. Ah. No, don't open. I clicked the wrong thing, sorry. Okay. Group of cows, got that. Saving energy for bull. I mean, I'm just gonna try 4. Oh! Okay. Is this Hereford? Wait. Wait. Group of cows, that's a herd. Saving energy for bull. What is Hereford? Oh! Apparently there's rather... Hereford is a common cattle breed in the UK. I did not know that. Okay, so I don't quite get how Starless works. looks. If anybody has any insight into that and wants to share, I'd appreciate it. But with that, we're going to be done with the YouTube section, so give me a moment. We'll let Twitch chat go away. And we're going to switch over to Escape Academy, so if you want to see stuff like that, you can pop on over to Twitch on Tuesdays. But otherwise, hope you enjoyed my solve, so see you later, YouTube. Chat, I'm going to be switched over the game here, so don't mind me just being, if the screen looks weird for a moment. Alright, but thanks for watching, YouTube. Bye!